A very good evening to all my dear students. I welcome you on behalf of ICAI for the last session of Chapter 3, that is Prospectus and Allotment of Securities. A very good evening to all the students who are present with us over here. Good evening, Anubhav, Soumya, Almas. Thank you so much, students. Even I'm very glad to see you back again. Miss Soumya, Rehana, Shailaja, Priyanka, all those who have written beautiful good evening wishes. Yes, good evening, Vishal, and all of you who are present with us over here, and also the students who have joined us on the portal. A very warm welcome for today's session. So, children, I hope you have revised what we have done in the previous 3 lectures that we had for your chapter prospectus. And today we are going to wind up this chapter of prospectus and allotment of securities because we are only left with 3 basic sections. That is section number 39. We have almost completed, but we'll be doing questions from section 39, section 40, 41, and 42. So as we always follow the thumb rule of revising what we have done in the previous class before we proceed further. So before starting today's class, I want to ask all of you if you have any doubts, because I remember doing a revision with you in the previous class also, wherein we have revised what we did in the prior sessions. So is there any kind of doubts that you're having? So first you can ask your doubts in the chat box, because then only it's better to proceed ahead. I hope you have revised section 39, the last session that we have done related to allotment of securities, and all the forms that we have discussed, PAS 1, 2, 3, and today we'll be talking about PAS 4 form. We have discussed in detail how the prospectus is issued. Section 23 to 26 talk about detailed about public offer that we're going to make for the securities. How we can go and approach the public. We need to have certain document which highlight about the financial position, a document which tells about the health of the organization, so that the investors can take a decision whether we want to take up shares of this company or not. So in fact, this is one chapter which I find very interesting among the students, because nowadays mutual funds, stock markets is so much in, and you keep hearing about the investments. So I feel so glad that you future budding chartered accountants are studying about these kind of subjects, how the listing of securities have been done. You're not required to do the entire SEBI rules and regulations, but yes, we are trying to understand from the Companies Act perspective, so that tomorrow when you become the auditors and you have a client which is a company and they have listed the securities, now they are planning to expand business and they take advice from you if you're issuing a prospectus, if all the contents of section 26 has been complied or not, then you as a chartered accountant, as a professional, as an expert can give your opinion upon the same. All right. Thank you. Ms. Soumya has written, ma'am, you have made the chapter very interesting. Thank you so much, child. And Priyanka Pandey has raised a query, which I'm going to address to everyone so that we can clear the doubts also. Good evening, Vemery and Harsh, Shrestha, those who have just joined now. Good evening, children. There is confusion between section 34 and 35 and 447, which sections it apply while solving the questions. Very nice question raised by Ms. Priyanka Pandey. So now we are going to understand. So let's proceed section by section, because today, children, it is the last class for prospectus. So I don't want to leave anything untouched. If you have any doubts, like Priyanka has raised about section 34, 35, anybody else also feels any confusion anywhere, so that we can clear the doubts then and there. So I hope section 23 and 24, 25, 26 is absolutely clear. Section 25 was specifically addressing about your deemed prospectus. So let me take a small test of yours. One question which I wanted to ask you about deemed prospectus is, what are the 2 conditions which are to be seen in order to called any document as a deemed prospectus. So there is an issuing house. What are the two conditions? All right, 447 children have raised a query for that. So we will have a quick recap of 447 also. Very good, Ms. Shailaja, within 6 months, but that is not the complete sentence. So what was your deemed prospectus provision? That is, the securities has been offered to the public within 6 months of the allotment, or the full consideration has not been received. So if any of these conditions have not been met, then only it will be known as deemed prospectus. So you remember we did in the last class a question similar to this, where one of the condition was actually met. So securities were offered within 6 months, they were offering within 9 months. So if you're taking too long, if the consideration has been received, then it cannot be called as the deemed prospectus. And what happened when the document becomes deemed prospectus? Then all the provisions of section 34, 35, 447 will be applicable related to misstatement and liability. I hope no doubts in 26 section also, because we have revised it at length also. After that, section 27 talked about variations, any variations that have been made. SR was the important point, which we have discussed in detail. Dissenting shareholders wala point bhi important tha. What is the form number in which the advertisement has to be given? In case of section 27, variations that have to be made. Very good, Priyanka. PS1. Anubhav says PS2. No, you're wrong. So PS1 was the form where the advertisement of the notice has to be given for section 27. So what was PS2? What was PS2? Who remembers PS2? Shelf prospectus, information memorandum. All right, very good. Shailaja, Priyanka, all those who have given the correct answer. Almas, let me see the students who are here with us on the portal also. All right, everybody has given the correct answer. Good. So section 28, if you remember, we've spoken about OFS. So my question to the class is here, company is selling the shares to the public, or the shareholder is selling the shares to the public, and how it is happening. Who will explain me in the chat box OFS? What was the meaning of OFS? Very good, offer for sale. But how does this offer for sale work? Somehow I'm not able to see the queries on the portal. I don't know why something is wrong. So I can only see the queries directly which are addressed on the chat box. All right, let's see if it gets cleared at the back. Hanji. So everybody has given the correct answer for OFS. It is by the members who want to sell their shares, directors or the members of the promoters, which further want to sell their shares to the public. They go to the company and all the reimbursement expenditures have to be borne by the members itself. And this document which the company is using for offering the shares to the public is deemed prospectus. Excellent. Bhumika, Rehana, Sunil Kumar, Anubhav, Priyanka Pandey. Very good. Wonderful answers. Yes, it will be known as deemed prospectus. And again, provisions of section 34, 35 will become applicable. And these were the 4 exceptions. I hope you all remember. Then 29 and 30 was clear to you. Section 31, any doubts, children? Because shelf prospectus is a very important section. So I hope you have no doubts. So a quick recap. What is the time period for which the shelf prospectus remains valid? What is the time period? Bhumika is asking, is it necessary to file a bridge prospectus? So I'll just explain you. Okay, 1 year was the correct answer. All right. And if in case of information memorandum, which is given in PES2 form 1 month prior to every fresh issue, if there are any material facts changes which the shareholders are not comfortable within, then within how much time period the refund of the money has to be made? Within how much time period the refund of the money? Oh my God, super intelligent kids in my class. Everyone has answered. So एक thumb rule याद रख लेना, 15 days shelf prospectus में return कर रहे हैं. Allotment of securities का भी remember 30 days वाली condition आएगी, वहां भी 15 days है return of money का. Private placement also today which we are going to do, same 15 days refund of money. So one thumb rule of chapter of prospectus, wherever you're talking about the refund of allotment, a refund of the money, 15 days is one standard number of days. Otherwise, many things keep changing in between. Okay, so ye 15 days you all have to remember. Then we did the huge red herring prospectus in which we had a great discussion. Today, remind me, I want to show you Mahindra Finance ka ek prospectus and one shelf prospectus also and PS4 copy also. So just remind me somewhere around 7:30, 8 o'clock that we'll see the forms and the prospectus copies also. So again, price and quantity is not mentioned. That is red herring prospectus. Here, I only have one question. Within how many days the red herring prospectus has to be filed with the registrar? Within how many days RHP has to be filed? 3 days before the final prospectus. Very good. Anubhav, you're wrong. Others, everybody is correct. 3 days was the correct answer. So red herring prospectus has to be filed 3 days prior to the opening of the subscription list, means before filing the final prospectus 3 days पहले आ जाएगा, तब तक हम अपने quantity and price determine कर लेते हैं, and then the final prospectus which comes up, whatever are the variations between RHP and the final prospectus, they have to be highlighted on the face of the final prospectus. Investors must read the red herring prospectus before taking up the shares in a company because it gives the full-fledged information about the company. Then came about your abridged prospectus, which had the salient features. Salient means important. It is not silent. It is salient features of prospectus, which means having all the important features of the prospectus. Whatever is the, it becomes very difficult for an investor to read the entire huge big prospectus, which is 400 to 500 pages sometimes. So it is better to give a summary of the prospectus. So your answer to your question somebody has asked. So it is compulsory to give a abridged prospectus with every share application form that you are submitting. जब भी आप investors को कह रहे हो that you have to fill this share application form, a copy of abridged prospectus has to be given. The only exceptions was for bona fide invitation for underwriting. Underwriters, today we are going to talk in section 40. When you're not making public offer, no need of abridged prospectus. Then what are we making? When we are not making public offer, we are doing a private placement. So private placement mein, there is no need of abridged prospectus. All right. And if the person asks you for a full copy of prospectus, then it has to be furnished before closing of the subscription list. It is important. Otherwise, a penalty will be charged. That is 50,000 for each default. Is that clear? Yes, Bhumika, please resend your question because so many answers and your question has gone somewhere else. Please, Ms. Bhumika, send your question again. Yes, Rihanna, Priyanka, absolutely correct. It is necessary to file it with the ROC. So here we are not talking about filing of the abridged prospectus with ROC. It is about filing of the abridged prospectus along with the share application form. Okay. So with ROC, it has not mentioned anything specifically. We'll just check it from the module also. If there is any provision specifically written, you can just get it checked from me. Otherwise, you simply have to remember that this prospectus has to be gone because it is specified by SEBI. We have to follow certain SEBI rules and regulations also. All right, where RHP and shell prospectus we have done, there we have specifically given the number of days for filing it with the ROC. Okay, all right. Okay, so now comes your section 34 and 35. Now, once again, I'm going to have a quick recap because so many queries have come related to section 447. So first of all, children, prospectus is one thing which has to be a true and fair picture about your company's financial position. This is known as the golden rule of prospectus because एक stranger, एक outsider आपकी company में पैसे लगा रहा है. He investing money in your company just on the faith of this document that you're showing to him. You're showing him the document. This is the company is doing. This is my objective. This is my financial position. These are the people who are running the company. Everything which is given over here, he's trusting this document. सिर्फ इस डॉक्यूमेंट के बेस पे वो आपकी कंपनी में पैसे लगा रहा है और शेयर्स खरीद. So just imagine this thing in your mind practically when you're studying section 34, 35. That is, you're investing money in a company. So it is very important that there should not be any untrue or false statement. There should not be any suppressed information. Means, for example, when I told you you're not giving information about your associate companies or subsidiary companies, that means you're hiding certain facts. It is affecting the decision of the investors. So this kind of things, if you're doing, you're getting attracted towards a civil and criminal liabilities. All right. But what was the defense that we told you? The defense that you can take is that if the information was not material, the name, spelling mistakes, or office address spelling mistakes, or the office was not given, or if you had the reasons to believe that the information was true as per your knowledge, then you can take this coverage. But otherwise, 447 becomes liable here or not? Yes or no? Tells me. If you are not following Section 34 clearly, the penalty of Section 34, whether under Section 34, 447 becomes liable. Very good. Anubhav says yes. Others? Everybody says yes. Very good. So that means 447 is applicable if you do penalty of Section 34. लिख लो अपने notes में ना. 447 becomes applicable if you have made a default of Section 34. Clear हो गया? Whenever intentional mistake is made, 34 comes in picture. ये देखो मैंने आपके लिए highlight करा हुआ है. I cannot see annotations. Manish sir, I need annotations. It's not there for using on the slide.
Ma'am, when you share a screen, on top of the right side or left side, it's coming more. Three dots
Yeah,
are coming.
but it's not. It's yeah. You have disabled. You can please provide
So
me.
you can enable so that you can write, I think. Ma'am, please check.
You'll have to do from the back end. I'm not able to do it.
Okay. Ma'am, then we have to check.
Just check it
Yeah.
and just message me in the chat. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So I think children, you can read it from here because I'm not able to use this. The fourth last line, whenever the intentional mistake is made, Section 34 will come in picture. So this is something that you can remember so that 447 will get attracted. Now, when is your civil? This was your criminal liability. Crime kar diya aapne ki. It is a major thing that you have done wrong, that you have hidden any fact. But civil liability is related to your Indian Contract Act, damages, punishments, if you're not following something. All right. If you have, every director will be punished to pay a compensation. Here, they are not talking about 447. Here, they are saying the defense, if you have used that, I have withdrawn my consent. I told you last time also, the director is traveling to US, says secretary has issued prospectus on their behalf by writing wrong things, or you are giving off the facts which you're not aware. So you simply give a public notice in the newspaper that I am not a party to it. I have withdrawn my consent. Or you have withdrawn it before the prospectus was issued. Or you have relied on the expert's statement. The expert was competent and he has not withdrawn his consent. So you can you can prove in the court that this is what I have relied. So if such things are happening, then you simply punishable to pay compensation. But if these three defenses are there, then you're not liable at all. But if you're not able to prove these points and it is proved that you have tried to defraud the investors, then you become personally liable. All right. So for criminal liability, 447 is there, children. But for civil liability, it is not talking about the 447. Is that clear? Everyone is clear about this point? Now, what was 447? 447, how you have to learn it, how you have to remember it. You have to see that there was a limit that ma'am has told you. You have to remember that limit, children. The limit was lower of 10 lakhs or 1% of turnover. Now, if the amount of fraud that you are doing is less than this amount or more than this amount. So if it is less, then you have to see if the public interest is involved or not. Okay. So where the amount, at least lower of 10 lakhs or 1% of turnover. Here it is less than lower of this. So in case it is less, there is no public interest given about. Then it is simply 5 years jail and up to 5 lakhs is the penalty, where you're talking about the lesser of both of them. But the public interest is where more is involved. So in case of more, again 2 points, where public interest is involved, where public interest is not involved. Where no public interest is involved, then 6 months to 10 years jail. दैट मीन्स लोगों का इंटरेस्ट इतना मतलब हार्म नहीं हुआ है, पब्लिक एट लार्ज को ज्यादा हार्म नहीं हुआ, तो 6 मंथ से लेकर 10 साल की जेल हो सकती है, बट अमाउंट ज्यादा है ना, मोर है, सो 10 years. दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टू रिमेम्बर. वेयर पब्लिक कम्स इनटू पिक्चर, तो 6 months को हमने 3 years कर. Are you understanding? The public interest is not there 6 months to 10 years. Where public interest comes 3 years to 10 years, and the fraud is more than the limit. If the fraud is less than the limit and no public interest, then up to 5 years of the jail. In case of lower limit, the fine is option. Can you see the word or? Or the fine up to 50 lakhs. मतलब ज्यादा harsh punishment नहीं है if the limit is less than 10 lakhs or to 1% of turnover, whichever is less. But if it is more, then what is the fine? It is mandatory fine 3 times of the amount involved. जितना भी पैसा इन्वॉल्व था, आपने एप्लीकेशन मनी ले लिया है उसे, आपने फ्रॉड करा, आपने चीट करा, लोगों से पैसा लिया, यू हैव यूटिलाइज दैट मनी. से फॉर एग्जांपल 1 crore if you have taken, to 3 crores rupees you'll have to pay. So it is a very harsh penalty for 47. It is just trying to protect the interest of the investors. So SEBI is a very protective body. It is very safe if you are buying the shares in a company. It is not that anyone can say, if you are making a mistake, you have not read the prospectus, then you are at a mistake. You are doing those mistakes of primary market and secondary market, then you are at fault. Then it is your mistake. You have to be very sure about this. All right, everyone is clear? Quickly give me a yes.
Ma'am, is it coming?
No, sir, I'm just trying to check that. It's still not visible. Should I stop the screen share and again share it?
Yeah.
It's not showing.
Not.
Yeah, but it's showing pause and recording, hide video, share computer sound, turn on original sound, only
No,
this.
ma'am. On upper side.
Yeah, where more is written after show meeting, more is written.
Yeah, ma'am.
It's not showing. I'll send a picture to Ajit sir. All right, everyone is clear about this? Great. After that, we discussed about section 36. Who is going to tell me about section 36? A quick recap. Section 36, where you're trying to induce the other person so that they can invest the money. All right, all those who have written crystal clear about 447, that's great. Now let's move to a quick recap of section 36, 37, 38 also. I hope we have done all these questions. All right. So section 36 simply try to tell us if you are trying to induce the other persons that they should invest the money. You are yourself not investing the money, but you are encouraging the other person to buy and sell securities on stock market, or you want to make profit for your some relatives, or you want to obtain credit facilities. Then which section comes into picture? Is it asking for a compensation or is it asking for a damages to be paid? What will you be liable to pay? So I told you in the last class, section 36, 37, 38, all these 34 se leke 38 are penalties where 447 comes into picture. Absolutely correct, ma'am. 447 will come into picture. So you will be have to pay as it is a criminal liability. And what was section 35? Action suits can be filed. Group of people can go together and file a case if they have had a common harm. Common harm means अगर सभी को एक तरह का नुकसान हुआ है, then they can file and take an action against the person who has done, against the company who has issued a prospectus which was not clear, or section 34 liabilities was there, or somebody has been induced. After that, what was section 38? Personation. We did it from the study material. Yes, both can file Bhumika. Absolutely correct. It was for the fake name. Excellent. Fictitious names, if you're using, if the company is allotting the securities on the fictitious name, or somebody is using, and a fictitious name means a fake name you're trying to use. Somebody is not a real person, but you're pretending to be someone else. In such cases, also personation ka case ban jayega, and 447 will become applicable in the same case. Rajveer, Soumya, Bhumika, all those who have sent the correct answers. Very good. Priyanka, Rihana, Kiran Mishra. Excellent. Good. Shailaja, Sunil Kumar, very nice. Now let's have a quick recap of allotment of securities. So we have issued the prospectus, public have subscribed to our shares, they have purchased it. Now the day has come when we are going to allot the securities to them. So what is the limit about the minimum subscription which should have been received? Only then the company can allot the securities. What was the minimum subscription limit? Almas is the first one to give the answer. Anubhav, Bhumika, Priyanka, very good. 90% is the minimum subscription should have been received. Anubhav, Bhumika, Soumya, good. Then only the shares can be allotted. But if my articles of association has written that the minimum subscription that the company should have received is 75%, then if I have not received the limit of 90%, can we say the allotment is void? No, ma'am. Then AOA will become applicable. Good. Absolutely correct. Okay. Now the company has received the entire share application money and it was received in cash. Can we receive the money in cash, or was there any condition that the money can only be received by the way of? No, ma'am, not cash. If we have received cash, then it is not a valid allotment of securities. Bank instruments can only be used, check, demand drafts, and any other banking instrument. Very good. Application money should not be less than 5% or the nominal amount or such other amount as specified by SEBI. What was this such other amount specified by SEBI? What was this such other amount specified by SEBI? I told you that there is a limit which SEBI has specified for the listed companies. Very good. Excellent. Everyone has answered correct. 25% of the issue price in case of listed companies. Otherwise, the minimum application money should not be less than 5% of the nominal amount of securities. And what is this nominal amount of securities? The share price is one share of rupees 100 each. So rupees 100 each ka 5% means rupees 5 you should have received at the time of share application. And if you have not, and what is the time period within which you should have received this amount? What is the time period by which you should have received this amount? Very good. 30 days is the time period or such other amount, number of days as specified by SEBI. So as of now, 30 days is the number of days specified by the SEBI. There is no other period given. From the date of issue of prospectus, the amount received from the applicant shall be returned. So it says within 30 days, the amount should have been received. If the minimum amount has not been subscribed and the money has not been received within 30 days from the issue of prospectus, then within how many days the amount shall be returned? अगर 30 दिन में नहीं आया तो फिर 30 दिन में ही हम रिटर्न कर दें या कुछ और टाइम पीरियड था? Within how many days the amount has to be returned? Within 15 days. Very good. Within 15 days, the amount should be returned to the, and it shall be returned in the same bank account where the application money was received. Does the company need to file any return for the allotment of securities? Yes, ma'am. Company has allotted the securities. Everything has to be intimated to our Mr. Registrar. उसको सब कुछ बताना जरूरी है. So in PAS3 form, the company will file with the registrar a return of allotment of securities. What were the contents of the return of allotments? Who is going to give me the contents for the return of allotment of securities? Number of securities allotted, who are the people who have taken up the securities, list of allottees, total amount received kitna tha, all those PES3. And I remember showing you the PES3 in the last class also. And if the company makes a number of securities also, very good sum. If default is made under section 39, what is the penalty and fraud? So this was clear. There were two conditions for allotment of securities. Money should have been received other than cash and minimum subscription. If no refund has been made, okay, we will discuss this, but the money should have been received within 30 days. And what is the penalty? 1,000 rupees per day up to 1 lakh. What is the meaning of this up to 1 lakh? So if there is a default of 40 days, so what will be the penalty? If the default was for number of days, 40 days, what will be the penalty? Yes, Rehana, Bhumika, Soumya, all correct. 40,000 will be the penalty. Who is this new person? Deepika. Good, Deepika, Rajveer. Excellent. 4 lakhs, Priyanka, why are you writing 4 lakhs? 40,000 will be the penalty. Okay. Okay, if the default was for 120 days, then what will be the penalty? If the default that the company has made, then what will be the penalty? Sunil Kumar says 1,20,000. Galat, Sunil. Everybody else is right. Maximum it is 1 lakh. So Sunil, you cannot increase from 1 lakh. So it says 40,000 or 1 lakh, 1,000 per day or 1 lakh, whichever is less means कि 1 lakh last limit है. 1 lakh से ज्यादा नहीं आप जा सकते. तो अगर किसी ने 150 दिन भी डिफॉल्ट करा या 200 डेज करा तो 2 लाख पेनल्टी बन जाएगी बट मैक्सिमम 1 लाख ही देनी. Okay, clear? All. So if the amount is not received within 30 days, then no allotment will be made, and 15 days from the close of the issue, you will refund the money. If not refunded, then the directors become jointly and severally liable. Very important line. Examiner is going to give you such questions where they are going to ask you that what kind of liability will be there of directors. The directors will be jointly and severally liable, means unlimited liability ho jayegi directors ki. You have taken money from the public, your conditions were not met. That means it is an irregular allotment of securities. Today, you're going to learn a new word coming out from section 39, that is irregular allotment of securities. That means now the directors are held liable and interest at the rate of 15% per annum will also be paid. Refund money will be given in the same account from where they have received the money. So this is the chart that we have discussed in the previous class also. I hope no doubts in section 39. And this is the return of allotment. Within 30 days, the return of allotment has to be filed with the registrar. This is the penalty which we have discussed in detail. Now let's start a new section, that is section number 40. I hope everybody is clear. All right. Varsha Chaudhary says, no doubt, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm glad, Priyanka, everything is clear. Good. Now, before making the public offer, every company needs to make an application to one or more recognized stock exchange in order to take the permission for the securities to be listed. So now I am a company ABC Limited. I am coming up with a public offer. I am issuing a prospectus and I'm inviting the public that come and buy my shares. So where are the shares? How are they going to buy it? The shares have to be listed somewhere, then only they'll buy it, then only you'll issue the prospectus. So section 40 is trying to tell you that before you come out with the prospectus, the securities should be reaching the stock market, then only you can issue a prospectus. But can I directly go and paste my securities over there? How do I get listed? So what are the two important stock exchanges in India? One is NSE, that is National Stock Exchange, and another is Bombay Stock Exchange. NSE and BSE. Very good, Kiran Mishra, Anubhav, all of you. So now, do you think that I need to take a permission from these securities? I need to ask them that can I issue, will you allow me? Can I take the permission from them? So what I have to do, I have to go and ask them for the permission that I would need to issue my securities in the market So I have to make an application to National Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange, and I will ask them the permission. Will you allow me to trade my securities on your stock exchange? Now, if I have asked for the permission and they did not give me the permission, but my company was adamant, मुझे तो पैसा चाहिए, I am going to go to the public with the prospectus. If I have not received the permission, I still come out with the prospectus and I still make a public offer. Is it a valid allotment of securities, or it would be known as an irregular allotment of securities? It is void. Excellent. Every company is not listed, but how the company. Dhanush, how the companies get listed, that is another procedure which is given in detail about SEBI. So we don't have to go into that detail. Section 40 simply आपको restrict correct चीज बता रहा है कि when you are coming out with the prospectus, वहां आने से पहले अपनी securities list करा लेना बस. Okay, so it is not a valid offer. Very good. Irregular allotment will be set. Excellent, Bhumika, Sunil, and Priyanka. Good answers. Now include the name. Now, so I always have to make an application. If you have made an application to NSE only and you got the application permission, yes, you can trade your securities, then you can allot the security. But if you made the application to two stock exchange, you get from both the yes, then it's okay. But if one says yes, the other says no, then can you trade the securities? Tell me. No, you will not be able to trade the securities. Excellent. Now, whatever stock exchange has given you the permission, their name has to be included in the prospectus. So when you will issue a prospectus, you will write that these are the stock exchange, name of Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, which has given you the permission that yes, you can deal with your securities on my respective stock exchange. Application money shall be kept in a separate bank account and should not be utilized for any other purpose. Now, you all must have heard about escrow account. When you open up the securities, it is known as an escrow bank account, which you open up. Specifically, this account is open for sale and purchase of securities. Financial assets को रखने के लिए, securities के लिए एक अलग से separate bank account खोला जाता. Can anyone tell me and think and apply their minds why there is need to open a separate bank account? Meanwhile, I'm just opening the study material for all of you. Why do you think that there is any need? Yes. Just open your study material. Why do you think that there is a need of opening a separate bank account? Because we want to protect the investors' money. So much public is involved. Security reasons. They can misuse their personal account. Very good, Anubhav. So that we can keep a record of money, Rajveer. That is great. Anubhav, no, it is not necessary to approach both the stock exchange. The only thing is, if I have approached both of them, then both should say yes, then only I can allot the securities. Otherwise, if you have approached one and they have said yes, then it's okay. But if you approached both, then wait for the permission from both of them. Clear? To protect the investors, Varsha, very good. It is easy to refund and not to use that money for any further purpose. Excellent answer given by Bhumika. Miss P, in case minimum subscription not fulfilled, we need, yes, because we need to refund the money. So we'll have a record now in a separate account. Excellent, Priya Mishra. All those students who have written beautiful answers. Priyanka, nice. Good, children. So it is very important to keep the money in a separate bank account. Now let us see if we have, I hope we have not missed out anything from the study material also. Section 39, we'll have a quick recap from here. So what is the meaning of allotment of securities? Means acceptance given by the company to allot the securities. So we already discussed that Indian Contract Act, offer is given, acceptance is given, so it becomes a contract. Similarly, when we get the application money, we allot the securities, a contract is made. When the shares forfeited are reissued, is it the allotment of securities? What is the reissue of shares? You have done these things to exclusively deal with, say, very good, Soumya. They're exclusively trying to deal with the securities. Money means protection is provided. Excellent. It is selling of shares. It is transfer of shares. So it is not your allotment of securities. Again, law of contract needs to be applied. Minimum subscription is must, which all my students now know it's 90%. The sum payable, इसको highlight कर लेना अपने module में that it has to be received by check. I still cannot use the annotations. I don't know why. So you keep highlighting, okay? Whatever I'm telling you, please keep highlighting. During the break, I'll just get it checked why it is not operating. All right, so SEBI has given the minimum subscription limit of 90%. So there is no change in this, but if articles provide something else, you'll have to go by that. And this also we have discussed. Any other given by SEBI is 25% of the issue price. All this we have taken up. 30 days, 15 days is clear, jointly and severally liable. Now, children, here I want to tell you one thing very important. What I expect you to write the answer in the exam. Now, once you have learned it, you have highlighted your study materials, आपने side पे सब लिखा हुआ है 30 days, 15 days, 15% per annum, तो वो learn हो जाता है. क्योंकि now I have taught you also, you have revised with me, and you have seen that flowchart also in my presentation, and it is written clearly in the study material. तो 4-5 जगह से हम पढ़ते हैं तो learn हो जाता है. But what do you have to write in the exam if you are making the directors liable for the default of the application money and you simply write 15% per annum? Don't expect full marks from my side. You are requested to write directors and other officers shall be jointly and severally liable and repay the amount at the interest. So both the points are important. You are making them unlimited liability. उनकी बनाओगे आप, साथ में आप interest attach कर रहे हो, which is 15% per annum. You write these 2 points, 2 marks questions, you get 2 marks. Okay. So another beautiful thing of ICAI, they have highlighted all the things beautifully for you. So much effort they have made. You just need to simply pick up your highlighter, highlight the heading and 15 days, highlight the heading default and the highlighted points from us so that you can remember it nicely. All right. Okay, return of allotment. Again, the company having a share capital has to file the return of allotment within 30 days and it is PES3 form. ये highlighted नहीं है, इसको आप highlight कर लेना, बस इसमें से सिर्फ इतनी information चाहिए. I hope you can see when I try to highlight it over here. Attachments of PES3, you have already answered me: name, address, occupation, and number of securities. Now, this is additional point. This is something which is very interesting. Additional attachments in case shares issued for consideration other than cash. For consideration other than cash. All right, now the annotations have started working. So maybe, but for re-login, I think we'll do it after the break. We can do that. Okay. So now any consideration other than, this is very interesting topic. Please listen very carefully. If the securities have been issued for consideration other than cash, what is the meaning of this line? Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me, अगर मैंने securities sale करी है, तो what will I pay? You have taken up the securities, you will be giving me money, and you are not giving in cash, you're giving through a bank account, check, everything we have understood. Now we are doing it in exchange of kind. Very good, Kiran Mishra, Anubhav, Varsha, excellent. Instead of money, something else is to be given. Yes, Anubhav, great. So what is that something else? Purchasing assets and buying securities. Excellent, Bhumika. Other than cash means kind. Very nice, Priyanka. All of you are correct. So now what happened? Company said that I will give you the securities and you give me certain assets in exchange. So this is known as consideration other than cash. Company is not taking cash. Company is taking certain assets. Say, for example, there was a big real estate builder. He has purchased securities of your company, and instead of buying, he gave you residential flat. So company has taken flats and issued securities. So number one, is it possible? So law says, yes, you can issue the securities in kind also for consideration other than cash also. All right. Thank you, Ajit sir, for sharing the admin portal also once again, because I was not able to open it. All right. All right, let me just open it because just a second, children. Okay. So now if you are issuing the securities for and taking certain assets in exchange, there are two documents which you have to attach in form PES3. PES3 kya tha? Return of securities, return of allotment that you're filing with registrar. You have to give two following documents. Number one, copy of the contract duly stamped to which the securities have been allotted. Now, we made a contract with each other that this is, I am ABC Limited, I was issuing the securities, and another investor, Mr. PQ, who has given me reals, he is a builder, PQ Builders, they have given me flats. So we have made a contract that you are giving me flats, I am giving you securities. So that contract copy, which is duly stamped, has to be attached along with the return of allotment. A contract of sale relating to the property or a contract for service or other consideration. So it can be a service also. One is assets that we are talking. So other than cash, may you will write down with your pens. It can be assets which we are giving in kind, or it can be certain services. The company says we are giving you free saloon services or any other kind of services with which we have made a contract. So any certain kind of contracts which you have made, you have to attach that copy so that registrar knows how you're issuing the securities. If you have not taken money, then what have you taken? What is the company giving? Is it giving free of securities? No. It is giving some evidence to provide that this is how we have issued the securities. Section 12, Rule 12, Clause 4 states where the contract is not reduced in writing, company will furnish the particulars of the stamp as they would have been applicable if the contract is reduced in writing and shall deem to be the instrument as per the Indian Stamp Act. मतलब किसी ने बोला हमने writing में contract बनाया ही नहीं. आप तो कह रही हो मैम कि आप contract की copy दे देना to which the securities have been allotted or the sale of contract properties, papers and everything. But if we did not made the contract, if it was not writing, it was oral, then you have to give as per the Indian Stamp Act, you will have to make a document that this is the contract that we have done. Because you have to give a proof to the registrar. And also a report of the registered valuer also has to be attached. ऐसा तो नहीं कि मैंने सिक्योरिटीज दे दी 50 lakhs की एंड कंसिडरेशन ले ली 100 lakhs की. ऐसा तो नहीं आई हैव गिवन द सिक्योरिटीज ऑफ 30 lakhs and I have taken the value of property of 20 lakhs. So it has to be valued. How will you value? You are not a registered valuer. You are a company which is running electronics business. And how do you know what are the property values? So you have to get it the valuation done from the registered valuer who will tell you that this is the correct valuation. And yes, you can have this contract copy and registered value report along with your papers. Clear ho gaya sabko? Everybody is clear about this because this was an important part for consideration other than cash. So what you all have to remember, 2 points. One is in-kind assets and another is services. These two things. If it is not reduced in writing, third point, then stamp duty ke according, Indian Stamp Act ke according, you will make that document. And the last point is the valuation report from the registered valuer is also to be taken. In case the shares issued according to section 62, subsection 1, subsection 7. So this is your part of share capital and debentures, which we are going to do from 7th of April. We'll be understanding about share capital and debentures. There we will talk about section 62. So abhi ke liye just leave section 62. No need to go into section 62. So this we'll be covering in part of your share capital, but simply he is also telling you that whenever the rights issue and bonus issue are done, then also the valuation report needs to be attached, which is given by the registered value. Any default you are making, we have already done the default 1,000 and 1 lakh, whichever is less. Clear? So I hope now no doubts in section 39 and 40 also we will continue from the study and then we will take a break. Securities to be dealt in stock exchange. Number one, we are going to file an application with the recognized stock exchange. I just told you NSE and BSE. Prospectus will tell the name of the stock exchange. Separate bank account has to be maintained. So I was talking about that escrow bank account. You all told me for security reasons, ma'am, you have to maintain. Now, what is the purpose of using this money that has come in the separate bank account? We can only use it for two purposes. Number one, for adjusting against the allotment of securities, and number two, for the repayment of money within the time specified by SEBI. तो दो ही चीजों के लिए पैसा यूज होगा. अब मैंने 30 days में have received 1 crore rupees. Minimum subscription met. Application money received in cash. What is the next step? Allot the securities. Now, this is the money 1 crore in separate bank account. I'm going to allot the securities in exchange of this. or minimum subscription not met, money not received in 30 days, refund this money in 15 days. You as a company are not supposed to keep this money to yourself, either allot to securities by using this money or refund this money if the conditions are not met. You cannot misuse this money or use this money for any other purpose. So it clearly says that return of application money in case the allotment is not done. Okay. Default in complying with the provisions. If you make any kind of default in this is condition relating to waiving of the compliance shall be void. This is very interesting and you can mark it important. This questions will be covered when I'll be covering the questions. Then you will get more clear. Okay. And those who are understanding in Hindi, I hope now you are understanding because I'm using Hindi also in between so that you can understand with clarity. All right. All right. Now the condition relating to waive compliance. First of all, tell me what is the meaning of waiving of the compliance? What do you mean to waive off? Everybody has to answer me this. Bhumika Scheduled Bank is, I told you in the last time also, it is the bank which is listed as per the Reserve Bank of India. It is given under the list of scheduled banks. So whatever list has been given, it is a specific category of scheduled banks. To forego, to allow, to cancel. Okay, excellent answers given. Jendra, Almas, माफ कर देना. Kiran Mishra is saying माफ कर देना, waive off कर देना, compliance. Okay. So to write off. So basically when we are giving up our rights, okay. So if you are saying any condition which is binding the applicant to waive compliance of requirement of the section shall be void. Now, how will you waive off the compliance? So there was an investor, Mr. A. He said, I am ready to buy the securities in this company. And he wrote a condition, even if the minimum subscription is not met, please allot me the security. Even if you have not received the application money, that is 5% of the nominal value, allot me the securities. Or the company is trying to waive off the compliance that, okay, we are giving up the minimum subscription or we are waiving the condition of the application money. If you try to do any this kind of thing, then you're allotting the securities, then it is known as a void allotment of security. It will not be considered as a valid allotment of securities. Clear? Yes, it is not allowed. Very good, Varsha. It is not allowed. Then you cannot issue the securities by waiving of the compliance. So any kind of condition, agar aap, iska simple meaning hai, any condition that you are attaching, which is binding the applicant that you will get the securities, even if section 40 is not complied. How section 40 is not complied? You have not got the permission, you're allotting securities void. You have issued the securities to the public without issuing the prospectus, section 23 void. You are doing irregular allotment means minimum subscription not received. Abhi upar example tha na section 39 mein. During the break, just read it. 80% of subscription wala. We did it last time. So that was a void allotment. So we'll do certain cases where I'll make you write down what is the irregular allotment of securities whenever you're not complying with section 23, section 26, section 39, section 40. If all these sections are not followed, and you still allot the securities, it is an irregular allotment of securities. And any default made, the company will be punishable with a fine which is not less than 5 lakhs, but it extends to 50 lakhs and every officer. Now here the penalty is different for officer and company default. Till now, it was only talking about a single penalty. Section 40 specifically gives you two penalties. One is 5 lakh rupees, which can extend to 50 lakh rupees, such a severe penalty. And officer in default, 50,000 to maximum 3 lakh. So please note down this penalty. It is important penalty and you have to learn this. So for a company, it is 5 lakh to 50 lakh rupees. And for a defaulting officer, it is 50,000 to 3 lakh rupees. Is that clear? After this, section 40 talks about the underwriter's commission, which we are going to do after the break. But first, I will give you a small introduction of the word underwriters. Who is an underwriter? Now we are learning about allotment of securities. Company has come out, it is giving the securities. We also would be talking about pro rata allotment. Do you know the meaning of pro rata allotment of securities? So I have given up the company. I came up with the issue of subscription that 1 lakh shares company has given that public can take. But actually public took 70,000 shares. Now what to do? It is under subscription, or maybe 1 lakh I have come up, the public have subscribed for 1 lakh 20,000. It can be over subscription also. So in both the cases of under subscription and over subscription, the company will do a pro rata allotment of securities. And how is it done? How is it done? Who is going to tell me? You divide the share application money divided by the share allotted money divided by the share application money. You will take out the ratio of that. And if the investor is buying 100 shares, so 100 into that ratio, you will be allotting the security. Say, for example, I made an application for 100 shares. Now you have got an under subscription. It was 1 lakh shares offered by the company and they have just subscribed 70,000. So now whatever ratio comes out with this, you will be applying that ratio to the 100 shares, and accordingly, the allocation of the allotment of the securities will be done. So this is how you do the pro rata allotment of securities. Okay. So let's take a small break here, and after that, we will be continuing with the underwriting commission. Then we complete section 41, that is GDRs, your favorite, which most of you have doubts in GDRs, but we'll try to make it very clear, and the private placement. Yes, Naina, you want to ask something? You can type it in the chat box. I'll just try to re-log in so that we can see the annotations also. Can we just check for the annotations once? So just revise section 40 and let's take a small break here. It's working now. Thank you so much, sir. Let's take a break here. students? So I hope you have read section 39 and 40 and no doubts in that. Now we will be proceeding towards the underwriters commission. Let me just open the portal students also. Yes. So who is an underwriter? Okay, Varsha has raised a doubt. She wants me to explain what is pro rata allotment. So how does the pro rata allotment of securities work? Let me explain you in detail. Let's take a certain example. For example, the allotment ratio that children, first of all, in case of allotment of securities, you will have to remember your chapter of share capital and debentures that you have been doing since class 11th and 12th. So there you have learned about oversubscription and undersubscription. So let's assume the total shares that were available with the company were 10,000. These were the shares available with the company. What does this mean? That means company has offered to the public 10,000 shares. And how many shares have been applied for? Let's assume they have applied for 15,000 are the shares applied for. So quickly tell me in the chat box, what will be the allotment ratio? What will be the allotment ratio if the shares applied are 15,000 and the shares available are 10,000? What will be your allotment ratio? Will we say 10,000 divided by 15, right? So it is 2 by 3. Everyone is clear? Means every applicant will receive 2/3 of the shares that they have applied for. Clear? Excellent. Neeraj Patel, Varsha Chaudhary, everyone who has replied it correctly. So 2:3 is the correct ratio. Very good, Anubhav. So now let's assume another further example that there was an investor who applied for 600 shares. How many shares will be allotted to him? So there was an investor who applied for 600 shares. So it will be 600 into 2/3. What does it comes out to be? You want me to answer or should I wait for your answers? Anubhav has answered it correctly. For every 3 applicants, 2 shares will be given. Very good, Bhumika. Anubhav, Kiran Mishra. Excellent. 400 is the correct answer. So for the shareholder who has applied for 600 shares, 400 shares will be allotted because this is the case of undersubscription. We have 10,000 shares only, 15,000 applications have been received. And how much is the balance amount that we're going to refund? How much is the balance rupees that we're going to refund? So first of all, the investor allotted 400 shares instead of 600. He will be getting 400 shares. Now, whatever application money we have received, let's assume that the application money was ₹3. We have gone into accounts, my God. So what will be the ₹3 into 600? How much money we have received, children? 1,800. How much we should have received? 3 into 400. So what is the amount to be refunded? Is that clear? 600? Yes? Everyone is clear. It will be adjusted against either it will be adjusted against the allotment money or this amount is the extra application money, which should be refunded. Rihana, Vemery, good answers given by all of you. Varsha Chaudhary, Priyanka, Neeraj Patel, Rajveer Ray, Anubhav Malik. Excellent. So understood. I hope now everyone is clear about pro rata allotment. So this is how you have to apply your basic accounting principles. We are understanding the theory behind that. Okay, Mr. P. Mujamid, you want to ask something? You can write it down in the chat box. Okay, you can type your query in the chat box. I will answer you there. All right. Now let's understand about the underwriter's commission. So I was telling you that what is the meaning of an agent? So agent is a person, say for example, if I am sitting over here in Delhi and I want to set up my business in Pune. So I need a person who is going to do the sale and purchase of my goods in Pune also. So it is very difficult for me to commute and set up entire business over there. So I thought, why don't I hire an agent who will be doing my business over there, and I will be paying him something for doing this business for my behalf. So what is paid to an agent? Can you tell me quickly what is the given? What do we pay to the agent for the work? So you all have studied very well principal and agent relationship, even in Indian Contract Act. Otherwise, also you have studied about this. What do you pay to the agent? We pay him the commission. Why do we give him the commission? We give commission to the agent for the work that he's doing on our behalf. Similarly, like this, like we have an agent, we have an underwriter. The company takes help from the underwriters who buy the company's shares if it is not fully subscribed by the public. So one is agent who is working on our behalf. Definitely excellent answers given by all in the chat box. Ma'am, we pay him consideration for the services rendered. Dhanush says underwriter is the person where the company cannot sell the shares. They appoint underwriters to sell the shares. Very good. So they are kind of brokers. They are kind of people who are helping the company. It is the share for the service he gave. Very nice. So they are trying to help us to reach out to the public. And if all the shares are not fully subscribed, then underwriters will buy the shares of the company. Now, because they're helping the company, so they demand commission for the protection that they're giving to the company. They are trying to give certain kind of protection to the company. What kind of protection they're giving? They're telling company that don't worry, company, you come up with an IPO. We are standing at your back. If public will not take up the shares, I am there to take up the shares in the company. So what are they giving? They are giving a guarantee to the company. Underwriters are giving a guarantee to the company. They are providing a protection that, yes, company, we are giving you a protection that we are standing by your side. We are the intermediaries parties. First, we'll help you to reach out to the public. And if public has not taken up the fully shares, we'll take up the balance shares. Say, for example, a company comes out with 1 lakh shares. 70,000 shares were taken up by the public. So these 30,000 will be taken up by the underwriters because it is not fully subscribed. So 1 lakh, अगर उन्होंने guarantee दी है कि 1 lakh के 1 lakh subscribe हो जाएंगे, तो balance shares will be taken up by the underwriters. Now, don't you think that the underwriters have given this protection, they have given this guarantee, they're taking up shares in the company, don't they need to pay something? Yes, ma'am, they need to be paid commission for this work. That is why the topic underwriting commission. So now the commission needs to be paid. So law says this commission has to be authorized as per the articles of association. What is the meaning of this line? It shall be authorized means AO में लिखा होगा कि underwriters को commission देनी है या नहीं देनी. If article says that yes, commission has to be given, it will be given. If article says no commission to be given, then it will not be given. So articles, number 1 point is articles will be authorizing this commission. Point number 2, from where the commission needs to be made. What is the source for this commission? It says proceeds of the issue or profits of the company or book. Now, there was a company, ABC Limited, who came out with 1 lakh subscription of shares. Underwriters gave them the guarantee that we'll make sure this 1 lakh is fully subscribed by the public. But public only took 65,000 shares or 60,000 shares. So underwriter said, don't worry, we will take up the 40,000 shares in this company. Now, ABC Limited is not having enough profit, but still they have to pay commission to these underwriters who have taken up 40,000 shares. They waited to receive money from these 60,000 share applicants. What is the meaning of proceeds of the issue? Means whatever amount you receive by issuing the share capital, they are giving 60,000 shares to the public. They will be receiving money for this. So now they have received the money for 60,000 shares. My dear students, you have to tell me, can we pay the commission to the underwriters out of this money that we have received from the public? Out of this money that we have received? No, Anubhav, then you will not allow because articles has to authorize. Everybody says no, ma'am, only if AO allows. Okay. So this is what we are trying to understand. No, ma'am, it is our expense. Yes, ma'am, if AO allows. All right. So it says the payment of commission shall be authorized by company's AO and it can be paid out of the proceeds of issue. So the answer is yes, you can. If articles have allowed you to pay the commission, then yes, you can pay the money out of the proceeds of the issuance. Whatever amount you have received from the issuing the share capital, that amount can be used for paying the commission to the underwriters. Or you can use the profits of the company, or both the things can also be used. Clear हो गया सबको? अब मैम, now what commission has to be paid? Commission देनी कितनी है? अगर तो शेयर्स टेकअप करें, सिक्योरिटीज जो हमने कंपनीज शेयर्स आर नॉट फुली सब्सक्राइबर, if the guarantee was given for the sale of shares, then 5% of the price at which the shares were issued, or the rate authorized by the articles of association. What is the meaning of or any less rate or amount? Means can the articles tell the rate of commission more than 5% also? It says no. Articles can, yes, it is generally company's expense. They have to bear by not using the security money. That's correct, Priyanka. So अगर हम generally सोचे तो यही लग रहा है कि हमने शेयर होल्डर से पैसा लिया and हमने उसमें से underwriters को pay कर दिया. So it does not sound good. But authorization has been given by the articles, then yes, we can pay the commission. The proceeds of the issue can be used for paying the underwriter's commission. That's why it is attached to section 40. Because section 40 told you there are only two purposes of the money to be used. But for underwriting commission, you can use the money for the proceeds of the issue amount that you have received. Okay? All right. So now articles of association, can we have 5% of the price I was asking you for the shares issued or less amount? So it will be always less amount if given by the articles. So if article says that 3% amount of the commission shall be paid to the underwriters, then you will pay 5% or 3%. If article says 13% commission shall be paid, then you will restrict it to 5%. Good. And what is in the case of debentures? If the company is issuing, why are they using word debentures? Is debenture a security? Tell me, children. We are issuing a prospectus for selling the shares. Why are they talking about debentures? क्या debenture security होते हैं? Yes, ma'am. Debentures are covered under the definition of securities. Excellent. All of you have given the correct answer. So what is the rate of commission if the debentures are being issued by the underwriters? .5%. Good. Let me see all the students at the portal also if they are sending the correct answers. Miss Kumari, yes, your answers are correct. Varsha Chaudhary is there also. Mausam Kumari, good. Santosh. Kesapuram Kumari. Great. All right. So in case of debentures, 2.5 is the correct answer. 2.5% of the price at which the debentures are issued or less rate given by the articles. And yes, ma'am, debentures as a security was the correct answer. Somebody has still given 5%. Now corrected 2.5%. Good. So if an underwriter, Mr. A, has helped the company in issuing the debentures of the company, then the commission, that article says that 1.7% was to be paid. So will you pay 2.5% or 1.7%? It says 1.7% commission to be paid to the underwriters. Then what will you pay? 2.5% or 1.7% is the correct answer. So what have we learned in this slide? Underwriting commission, underwriters are those who are helping the company, giving the guarantee to buy the shares, and articles will authorize the commission payment out of the proceeds or profits, or both can be used. 5% in case of shares and 2.5% in case of debenture. So the maximum rate of commission can be 5 and 2.5% in case of the shares and debentures, subject to the rate authorized by the articles. This is very, very important line. Don't forget it. It cannot go beyond 5 and 2.5, but other articles may lesser rate diya, then we. What is the fourth point of this topic? Prospectus will include the following particulars: name of the underwriters, the rate and amount of commission payable, number of securities underwritten or subscribed by the underwriters. So कौन थे underwriters A, B, C, कौन से underwriters है prospectus में लिखा होना चाहिए कितने underwriters हैं securities ली हैं. What is the rate and amount of commission which is to be paid to them, and how many securities they have undertaken. And the last point, number 5, is a copy of contract for the payment of commission shall be given to the registrar at the time of delivery of the prospectus. So examiner is going to ask you an MCQ. At what time the copy of contract of underwriting commission shall be submitted with the registrar? At what time a copy of contract of the, what is this contract? The contract that you have made with the underwriters. ना आप एक contract sign करो भी, हाँ तू underwriter है, देखो हम इतनी commission देंगे, ऐसा एक contract हमारा बना है. Yes, Varsha, the shares which are not taken up by the public will be taken up by the underwriters. This is the guarantee that we have given. Excellent, Bhumika, ma'am. It will be delivered to the registrar at the time of delivery of prospectus. So when you're filing the prospectus, at the same time, you have to go to the very good, Naina. Shailaja, Rajveer, excellent. At the same time, the copy of underwriter's contract also needs to be filed. Clear हो गया सबको? Yes, Soumya, underwriters can take up the shares. That is what the example that I told you. Priyanka, for what you are asking the time limit? For within how much time period the underwriters should take the shares? So within the time period that the public has not taken. Absolutely or conditionally means. So Miss P, absolute and conditional means, absolute is the opposite of the word contingent. So absolutely means 100% this thing will happen. Conditionally means it is attaching certain conditions to that. Say, for example, I checked the weather forecast and it is written that it is going to rain tomorrow. So I am absolute that it is going to rain tomorrow. But conditional is, if it rains, then I will give you the money. So that is the condition that you have attached. Okay. Yes, Bhumika, definitely they are in double profits because they're earning from the securities also and from the commission also. Everybody's clear. It's very simple. Only these 2 slides that I have made a brief note from the study material. You can simply learn these slides. It's enough. And again, we have good amount of questions also for all of you. But usse pehle hum syllabus khatam karenge, then we will move to the questions. Now comes your favorite topic, GDRs, which you have been thinking and doing since chapter preliminary we have started. Since that time, you have been hearing this word, global depository receipts, IDRs, ADRs. Today is the day when we're going to discuss it openly. What is it actually? So can anyone tell me randomly what is the meaning of global depository receipts? What is section 41 trying to tell you? For that, Priyanka Pandey, you will have to apply all the provisions of SEBI and Retail Companies Act if you want to understand how the return of the underwriters is calculated. Because I told you many a times, this stock market in itself is a very big subject. So there are a number of brokers, there are a number of underwriters, there are a number of people who are helping company in reaching out to the public. Yes, absolutely, Anubhav. At global level, CDSL is also trying to do these kind of things. This is for your GDRs that you're talking about, Anubhav. Yes, Varsha Chaudhary, shares listing on the international stock exchange. Good. Raising the money from foreign public. Miss P, correct. International Market Security Exchange. Okay, very nice. So Google is also helping you, huh? Company wants to issue the shares in foreign market. Securities are issued to the investors. Nice, nice, nice. Good answers. Good answers, Kiran, Vemari, Priyanka, Bhumika, all of you. So let's try to understand the concept of GDS, how this foreign investing is being done. So all of you are absolutely right that, ma'am, we are going to raise our shares in the foreign market. I am a company, Reliance. I am sitting in India. I'm an Indian company. I want my shares to be traded in USA, in Singapore, in Canada, and any other kind of countries. I want to do an overseas direct listing. So when I want money from the foreigners, I want them to buy the shares of my company and give me money. But it says process of getting the depository receipts abroad, company needs to find a domestic custodian bank, which will further give the shares to overseas depository banks so that the deposit receipts can be issued. What is the meaning of this line, ma'am? Very complicated. So many words used: depository receipts, depository bank, custodian bank. Let's try to simplify it within next 5 minutes. So listen, everyone, very carefully. There is an Indian company, ABC Limited. It wants to raise the funds from abroad. Now, since it needs its money from abroad, it cannot directly go abroad and do its listing of the shares in the overseas. You cannot directly go, right? So what will you do? This Indian company, which is sitting in India, will find a domestic custodian bank. एक बैंक के पास जाएगी, say for example SBI. Again, this SBI should be having the same branch in overseas bank also. So Indian company ABC Limited will go and approach the domestic custodian bank and will tell them that, please, why don't you help me in raising money from the foreign investors? So this Indian company will come in contact with this domestic custodian bank, which is the bank that we have taken in our example, either HDFC, SBI, koi bhi le. So we have taken the example of SBI. So now this SBI will hold the shares of the Indian company and it has its counterparts in USA. We are raising the money from USA, say for example, and it has its counterpart in USA, which is known as Overseas Depository Bank. It is also like bank is holding the money for us. This domestic custodian bank is holding the shares for us. It will go and get in touch with this overseas depository bank and will tell them that I have received the shares, equity shares from the Indian company ABC Limited. Now you can issue depository receipts to the overseas investors. मेरे पास शेयर्स आ गए हैं, अब आप डिपॉजिटरी रिसीट्स बाहर इशू कर दो. आपस में इनकी एक कस्टोडियन एंड डिपॉजिटरी एग्रीमेंट बनेगी दोनों बैंक्स की. फिर से समझते हैं. एक इंडियन कंपनी है एबीसी लिमिटेड, एसबीआई के पास गए, एसबीआई वांट टू रेज माय शेयर्स इन फॉरेन. You cannot directly go to foreign. You will give your shares to SBI Domestic Custodian Bank. They will get in touch with their counterparts in US or in any other country. So overseas SBI Bank, they will take the shares from you and they will issue depository receipts. So depository receipts is only the another name which is given to the terminology which is used for shares. So here we are using the word shares. There we are using the word depository receipts. So first, Indian company will have to give its shares to the domestic custodian bank. Then it informs the overseas depository bank. And this bank will inform the foreign investors that now we have received the shares or depository receipts from Indian investors. You can come and invest your money and you can get the depository receipts in return. Is that clear? So now the foreign investors, whatever receipts they will be getting, they will give the acknowledgement that yes, I am holding the overseas bank, I am holding the money on your, I am holding the shares on your behalf. You can come, give us the money, and we will issue you the depository receipts. Same way, when we want to invest in the Indian company, Indian person will get the shares, outside country will come and they will give you the shares. They are known as ADRs. जब बाहर से कोई कंपनी आकर हमारी कंपनी में इस तरह से रिसीट्स इशू करी है, वो एरियाज है. अगर हम बाहर जाकर इशू कर रहे हैं दूसरी कंपनी में, दूसरी कंट्री में, तो वो जीडीआस है, ग्लोबल डिपॉजिटरी रिसीट्स. So now you will understand this terminology very clearly, wherein it says it is a process of getting the receipts issued abroad, like we just issued it abroad in US. Company will find a domestic custodian bank, that is SBI. He got us shares and then he gave us shares to overseas SBI bank so that they can issue the depository receipts to the foreign investors over there. तो वहां पर मिस्टर जॉन, मिस्टर Ali, Mr. whosoever, any name you can take, ABC in US, to them, Mr. Paul, Mr. Philip, to all these people, they will be issuing the foreign investors, they will get a receipts. Now they have invested directly in Reliance Company or ABC Limited Company, but they have done it through the help of GDRs. Is that clear? International markets also we have understood today how the shares are listed in the international market. So now there is a manner how the depository receipts will be issued. There is a procedure which the companies have to follow. Here your Companies Act comes into picture. Here your rules comes into picture. So whenever the company is issuing depository receipts to any foreign country, they will have to pass a SR in the general meeting. What is the meaning of SR? What is the meaning of SR, special resolution? There is one is ordinary resolution, one is special resolution. पता है किसी को क्या होता है SR? SR is a special resolution which is passed in the meeting, wherein we try to take 75% of the consent of the shareholders so that we can proceed with the decision further. So SR needs to be passed. Approval is taken from the shareholders. These can be issued by public offering or private placement. तो चाहे आप सेक्शन 23 to 40 अप्लाई कर लो पब्लिक ऑफरिंग वाला, चाहे आप सेक्शन 42 अप्लाई करो, in any ways GDRs can be issued. Receipts may be issued against the issue of new shares or may be sponsored against the shares held by the shareholders according to the conditions of central government or Reserve Bank of India. So RBI and CG will tell how the shares have to be issued according to their requirements and prescriptions. The shares have to be issued. Underlying shares shall be allotted in the name of Overseas Depository Bank and depository receipts will be issued by the Overseas Depository Bank. So I just explained you who is issuing them. Overseas Bank is issuing, not we are issuing. We will get in touch with our custodian bank will get in touch with the Overseas Depository Bank. They both have the depository agreement and the bank is issuing the shares, not the company directly. A holder of the depository receipts will become the member of the company and he can also vote on the conversion of depository receipts. All right, so even he will get the voting rights and he can also vote because this holder will now, Mr. John, who is a US citizen, he has also become, because he's holding the depository receipts of Reliance or ABC Limited, so he also becomes the member of a company and he can also vote. Until the conversion, they will be entitled, overseas depositories shall be entitled to vote on behalf of the holders according to the agreement made between the depository, holder of the depository receipts and company. वो कहते हैं जब तो अपने depository receipts shares में convert करा लेगा तब तो 100% vote कर सकता है, but till the time conversion is not made, as per the agreement entered between the company and depository, they can entitled to vote. All right, so these are the 2 points which are related to the voting rights of the depositories. Now let's start the last topic of this chapter. ADRs is again, child, Anubhav, if somebody is issuing the securities in our country. GDRs is global depository receipts. American depository receipts means we are specifically dealing with the American, we are issuing the shares in America. And IDRs is when somebody is trying to, only Standard Chartered Bank is the only IDR which has been issued. It is the Indian depository receipt, which means the outside people are trying to raise funds from India. Then we issue IDRs. But when our own Indian company want to raise the shares in foreign investors, they approach them. That is why GDR's concept came into picture. But when we are approaching specifically America, then we use the ADR. Kiran Mishra, क्या नहीं समझ आया voting rights में? What do you want to ask? Ask me. What is the meaning of voting rights? First of all, you should know what is the meaning of voting rights. Voting rights means I have taken up the shares in your company. Now I have the voting rights. Okay. And also when you were asking ADRs, one ADR is equal to 10 equity shares. So US citizen will get 10 equity shares when they have taken up one ADR. So that is again a different ratio that you can remember. All right. Yes, Priyanka, but they are not buying and selling by international banks by themselves. They are selling it through our Indian banks. They have made the agreement. That is how they are um, issuing the shares to the foreign investors. Okay, Priyanka. All right, Kiran, I am explaining you about the voting rights once again. Voting right का मतलब होता है कि आप अगर शेयर होल्डर बन जाते हो किसी कंपनी में, then you get the right to vote on certain resolutions. So law is saying that this depository receipt holder will also become the member of the company, so he can also vote. But if he has not converted his receipts into shares, then he will be voting as per the agreement between the company. So I am Mr. John. I have taken up the shares in this Reliance through GDRs. So I am a member of the company now, and I got my GDRs converted into shares. Whatever shares there are, like I told you, for ADRs, there are for one ADR, you have 10 equity shares. Similarly, for GDRs, whatever is the procedure as per the scheme, see, they're writing as per the scheme. They're not sharing what scheme is given over there. But the only thing you have to run, yes, if you are converted, then you vote on all the rights. If you are not converted, then you simply vote as per the agreement. ज़्यादा डिटेल में जाओ ही मत. Okay? Yes, memory. If you want to buy in any other foreign company, go into the same procedure. If depository as an intermediary, ये कौन बोल रहा है? Varsha Chaudhary, depository bank is not becoming the member. Person who has taken up the shares in the company. This foreign investors are becoming the members, not the overseas depository bank is becoming the member. Okay? Clear? प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट कंप्लीट करते हैं, फिर मैं 2 मिनट्स का ब्रेक दूंगी. एक बार पढ़ लेना, फिर डाउट्स होंगे सॉल्व कर देंगे. वी हैव सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस टू डू चिल्ड्रन. लेट्स प्रोसीड अहेड. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट? Now we have done whole chapter section 23 to 41. We have done extensive revision also within the session itself, and we have done number of question and answers, MCQs. Somehow I have a feeling as if you have fairly 50% learning part is also now very well done. For section 23 to 39 to 40 and 41 we will do today. And section 42 is the simplest section. Private placement seems very huge, so many pages in the study material, and within 10 minutes the picture will be very clear cut in front of you. And since you have studied section 23 to 40 very nicely with me, that is one reason that it will become very simple, because now you have heard about those words, they are there in your mind, so you have a great picture clarity about it. So what is the meaning of the word private placement? Section 42. Who is going to do a private placement? Public company or a private company? Who is going to do a private placement? No raising of hands. Ms. Bhumika, in case of the company deemed prospectus, I have explained you the concept in detail. So you don't need to remember and write over the entire concept of the issuing house over there. That was for making you understand how the deemed prospectus is coming into picture. But you only have to learn the conditions and additional matters that I have taught you with respect to section 25. Clear, Bhumika? Somebody is saying, ma'am, only private company. Are you really serious? Both public and private companies can raise to private placement. Day one. Forgot? Jendra is saying, after allotment of share, how the money is used. So, Jendra, I have allotted you the securities. I am the company. I have received the shares. Now I'm going to use that money for my business investment because I have allotted you the shares. You will be trading in the share market. Okay? All right, Priyanka is now taking live examples of Nick Jones investing in Reliance. You can read about those stories and try to clear your concept and try to make it more interesting for yourself. No worries in that. Yes, right. Absolutely correct. Sunil Kumar has now said, and public also. So both public and private companies can do the private placement. That is correct. So when you are inviting the securities, we are not going to the public over here. So मैम अभी तक तो हम पढ़ रहे थे प्रोस्पेक्टस आया एंड पब्लिक के पास गए हमने शेयर सब्सक्राइब करे तो अब हम कैसे करेंगे प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट में कहाँ जाना है पब्लिक के पास नहीं जाना तो वेयर टू गो यू विल गो टू अ सिलेक्टेड ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल not by way of public offer, by way of private placement. There is a form known as private placement offer cum application form, PPOCA form, that is private placement offer cum application form, which needs to be sent to the investors, a selected group of people. So here for private placement, a private company is feeling so low that I can't go and issue the prospectus to the public, but I also want money. I also want to expand my business. So how should I raise money? So law said, don't worry, dear private company. You can also go and approach a selected group of people, but it should not be more than 200 in any financial year. So your first condition is that you can only go to a First condition is you can only go to a selected group of people through this form. And second condition is this selected group of people should not be more than 200 persons in a financial year. And third condition is that by passing special resolution, these people will be identified by the board. So first board resolution will be passed, and then by passing SR, they will identify who are these 200 people. So there is a company AB Private Limited. It is trying to raise its money from the investors. It will not go to the public. It will issue PPOCA form to the investors, which should not be more than 200, by passing an SR, and a selected group of people will be identified. Point number 4, while finding this selected group of people in the limit of 200, 2 people are not counted. Who are these? Qualified institutional buyers. अब यहाँ पे ना वर्ड्स बहुत बड़े बड़े आएंगे मीनिंग बहुत सिंपल है और हमने मीनिंग लर्न भी नहीं करने QIBs. Who are QIBs? These are the buyers who are defined by SEBI. These are very big bodies. They have financial assets exceeding ₹100 crores. बहुत financial assets हैं इनके पास, big bodies हैं. तो प्राइवेट कंपनी को कह रहा है कि क्वालिफाइड इंस्टीट्यूशनल बायर्स के पास चले जाओ, नो प्रॉब्लम, इनको 200 की लिमिट में काउंट नहीं करेंगे. And when you're issuing ESOPs, what is ESOPs? What is the meaning of ESOPs? ESOPs means when you're issuing stock options to your existing shareholders. So private company is going to come up with a private placement as per section 42, read with rule 14. This is what my children have to remember. Point number 1, PPOCA form will be used. Point number 2, selected investors will be there. Point number 3, आप लोग मुझे बताएंगे how many investors? The limit is 200 only. 200 in a financial year, मतलब एक साल में 200 investors per year. It excludes 2 parties. What is excluded? Qualified institutional buyers and ESOPs are not included. Means if you are going to 200 investors and 50 qualified institutional buyers and 50 ESOPs, then it's okay. 200 limit does not include qualified institutional buyers and ESOPs that you're issuing to your existing shareholders. They are not included, means private company can raise money from them. And point number 4 is this limit of 200 is for equity shares, 200 you can have. For debentures, you can have another 200 people to whom you can ask. For preference shares also, you can have a limit of 200%. So actually 600 for your securities, for every security, any other kind of security you're having, the limit is 200 for every equity, for every preference, for every debentures, and it is every financial year. And two parties which are not included in the limit of 200, tell me in the chat box quickly. Qualified institutional buyers and ESOPs. Dhanush, मैंने अभी बताया who are QIBs. QIBs are the very big buyers who are defined under the Securities Exchange Board of India. SEBI बताता है कौन होते हैं QIBs. In general, QIBs are those big bodies which have the financial assets exceeding rupees 100 crores. Okay. All right. So for private placement, for counting 200 limit, qualified institutional buyers are excluded and ESOPs given to employees are also excluded. This is in a simple language. But for NBFCs and HFCs, what happened for NBFCs and HFCs? These are National Housing Finance Corporations. There, the limit of 200, they are included. Means if HFC, a Housing Finance Corporation, is going to selected buyers and it has approached 100 investors and 150 qualified institutional, then only 100 qualified institutional buyers can be taken because they are included within the limit of 200. So now the exception ka bhi exception. 200 limits mein QIBs and ESOPs are not included, we understood. But for NBFCs and HFCs, they are included in the limit of 200. And this limit of 200 is for each financial year. So this is your entire summarized process of private placement, which we are going to read from the study material also. Again, I have simplified it. 11 points to be learned and you are done. First of all, children, I am a private company, AB Private Limited. What I have to do, I have to pass a board resolution. क्यों pass करनी है मुझे board resolution? Because I have to identify the investors. How do I know? I'm a company. How will I decide who are the people? Ma'am ने तो बता दिया 200 people. Who will decide that? Board is going to decide that. So you don't need to worry. Number of 200 selected people will be decided in the board meeting. All the board directors will sit and they will decide that these are the big parties to whom we are going to approach with PPOACA form. Private placement offer cum application letter will be sent to them that we are coming up with the private placement. Please fill up this form and tell us if you're interested in buying the shares of a company. And within how many days? Within 30 days of board resolution, we have to send these forms. First 3 points are clear. Board बैठेगा, resolution pass करेगा, meeting होगी, decide करेंगे investors. Within 30 days, letters will be gone. SR has to be passed, very important. You cannot miss this process, special resolution. When special resolution is to be passed, then you will study in section 102 when we do management and administration. There I will explain you, there is an explanatory statement which is to be given along with the special resolution. It will contain all the details about the notice, what is the notice, why SR needs to be passed, what is the matter, everything will be given in this detail. And no SR is required if non-convertible debentures are issued under section 180, subsection 1, subsection C. Now, the first 3 points are related to BR, board's resolution. Next 3 points are related to SR. SR has to be passed, explanatory statement to be given. And what is non-convertible debentures? Chapter number 4 आ रहा है अभी थोड़े दिनों में, don't worry. सिर्फ इतना याद करो कि अगर नॉन कन्वर्टेबल डिबेंचर्स इशू हो रहे हैं जो कि 180 सबसेक्शन 1 सबसेक्शन सी की लिमिट में है, इसकी लिमिट क्या होती है? 100% ऑफ पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल प्लस प्री रिजर्व पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल, free reserves plus security premium account. 100% of paid up share capital, free reserves and security premium amount is the limit. If non-convertible debentures are issued within this limit, no SR is required. Clear? Now, next 3 points is application process. Again, the money will be received by check or DD, not cash, to be kept in separate bank account. कहीं पढ़ा था? यस मैम, अभी पढ़ा था सेक्शन 39 में अलॉटमेंट ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज में कि पैसा चेक में आना है, डीडी में आना है, कैश में नहीं आना. सेम पॉइंट. एप्लीकेशन मनी टू बी यूज फॉर अलॉटमेंट ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज विद इन 60 days. पब्लिक ऑफर में कितने दिनों में यूज करते हैं? यस किरण मिश्रा, बिल्कुल हो जाएंगे सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर्स आपसे, डोंट वरी. पे अटेंशन व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. व्हाई यू टेकिंग सो मच टेंशन राइट नाउ? अनुभव, queries later on. Abhi right now, please answer me what I'm asking. Students, are you there? I'm asking you that within 60 days, allotment of securities have to be made. But in case of public company, it was 30 days. अभी तो पढ़ा है सेक्शन 39 में, भूल गए? हाँ, 1 month. अनुभव बोल रहे 1 month में. 30 days मीन्स 30 days. 1 month नहीं कहते. 1 month में 28 days भी होते हैं, 21 days भी होते हैं. Okay, so 30 days is the correct answer. But private company में you can take 60 days. Their public is involved. So 30 days में जल्दी काम करना पड़ेगा because public का पैसा है. यहाँ पे 60 days time period have been given for allotting the securities. I told you if not allotted, refund is the same term. If not allotted, within how many days you have to refund the money? 15 days. आज मैंने आपको लेक्चर शुरू करते 3 जगह पे बता दिया था. 15 डेज ही आता है सेक्शन 25 में भी, सॉरी सेक्शन 28 में 15 डेज है. पब्लिक ऑफर सेक्शन 39 में भी 15 डेज में रिफंड करना है. प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट 42 में भी 15 डेज में रिफंड करना है. बट द कंपनी विल पे द इंटरेस्ट एट द रेट ऑफ 12% per annum if it fails to refund the money. So there the interest was 15% per annum because public is involved, more investors, more protection. Here 12% per annum. There 30 days and 15%. यहाँ पे 60 days and 12% per annum. अब यहीं पे थोड़ी कंफ्यूजन आएगी because this is your learning part. How we have to learn and remember private placement so we can be relaxed. We can get 60 days. Public offer allotment 30 days. Public is involved 15% per annum. Private is involved 3% का ही फर्क है 12% per annum. And the return of allotment is to be filed in 15 days. It was 30 days in case of section 39. So 3 points of differences between section 39 and 42 we have highlighted. Why 15 days for return of allotment? Because it's a private placement. You don't have to do so much calm down. When public allotment, so many list of allottees, so many people have subscribed here. It is a list of 200 people to whom you made an application. And you know that to whom you have made an application. You don't have to find out. So 15 days for the return of allotment. I think you need 2 minutes to absorb this information because too much information I have uploaded in your brains. So let's take a small 5 minutes break so that you can absorb this information. And then I'm going to quickly ask you, I'm going to take your test. Number of questions are coming up. So I am giving you 5 minutes. Please read. Yes, Varsha Chaudhary is saying, yes, ma'am, we do need a break to read it. So this break is for revising and reading section 41 and 42. Leave section 41, just read section 42 extensively so that you can ask your doubts. Let's take a small break. Students, I hope you all have gone through private placement. Now, quickly, you can ask your doubts so that we can proceed ahead with the question answer rounds. These are the MCQs. Okay. Yes, in the chat box. Yes, Rajvi, it will not carry any renunciation means that the rights issue that you are taking and the bonus shares, that is your section 62, which will be covering in share capital, they will not be included in part of your 200 members. That is what is trying to tell you. Okay. This also reminds me that I have to show you this form. Rihanna is asking, is board resolution same as the general resolution? Yes, Priyanka, they will be including that 200 members limit. It will include. There is a difference between general resolution, general meeting, and board resolution. The general resolution, Rihanna, is for your shareholders. And your board resolution is when you are calling your board of directors. Okay? You want me to show you that form first because then we'll get engrossed in the question answers and the form will not be there. Why it is not showing me the form? Okay, students, this is your PES4, that is private placement application form. This is how it looks like. This is your general information, the name, address, and contact details of the person to whom you're making this offer, the details and management of the company, everything will be given about the directors. Any defaults if you have made in your statutory dues, debentures, now is the company involved in any kind of default? What is the present status? So when the company is not making any defaults, you will write not applicable over here. But if you have made any default in statutory dues होता है आपने TDS returns, GDRs, GST returns आपने timely सब करा है या नहीं करा? Okay. Then particulars of the offer, which date your board resolution was passed. So I told you, you have to pass, the board of directors will be called, they will be invited. They will decide what is the limit of 200 members. Then only the decision will be taken of inviting the private placement. So which date this board resolution was passed. Then you will have the general meeting in which you will pass the special resolution authorizing the offer of securities. So shareholders will then meet and discuss that SR will be passed, that yes, we can go ahead with this offer. What kind of securities you're offering, shares or debentures? So I told you 200 again for shares, 200 again for debentures, equity preference shares के लिए भी individual limits है. किस price पे offer कर रहे हो, amount which the company wants to raise, कितना पैसा company raise करना चाहती है, all these details will be given in this form. After that, you give the details about the financial matters, any interest of the directors in the company, related party transactions. Then you try to tell them the entire financial position. तो जैसे आप prospectus issue कर रहे थे ना, यहाँ पे आप PAS4 form issue कर रहे थे. जैसे आप PAS2 information memorandum में financial information changes दे रहे थे, similar way for public, here you're giving it for private people in the same form. Financial position of the company will be told. What is the size of the present offer? What is my paid up capital? What are the details of the existing share capital? Everything. And then at the end, a declaration will be given by the directors that we have complied with each and everything. You attach the copy of board resolution, you attach the copy of shareholders resolution, and then you send this application form to all the private placement people who want to invest in your company. Is that clear? Okay, I will show you that point NBFCs ka Soumya, which you are asking. Now it is in your hand if you want to do the MCQs or not, because I am going to take up all your queries also side by side. And even if any query or anything is left, don't worry. We are meeting on 7th of April. That is for share capital. So we can discuss till then. You will get some time to revise this topic also. So again, if you have any doubts, you can ask me on that date also. So here board of directors decided to pay commission 5%, but it only permits 3%. Then which will be the commission that you will take? 3% or 5%? So you will take 3%, okay? And can we pay the commission out of the proceeds? Yes, it is valid. All right, this is your private placement. This is the point which all of you are asking. So this you have to ignore because originally it was the limit of 50 children, but now we have to learn the limit of 200. So don't get confused between this. Qualified institutional buyers, I've already explained you who are they. This is the point which most of you have asked. Non-banking financial companies जो होती है, that means you're not a banking financial company, you're NBFCs, which get themselves registered. They are specifically for investing your money and giving you a higher rate of interest. And housing finance company, the companies which give you loans kind for your housings. So they are registered with the National Housing Bank. Now, if they are complying with the regulations of RBI or NHB, that is National Housing Bank, for inviting the placements, they don't need to comply with the limit rule 14 subsection 2. What is rule 14 subclause 2? It says that the limit of QIBs and ESOPs are not to be included. So it says when these people are sending the invitations, then QIBs will also be counted. So let's assume NBFC is sending the application. It has sent the application to 50 QIBs. So how many more applications it can send? 150, Rajbir, good, Miss P, correct, everybody correct. But if I'm not an NBFC and I'm not an HBFC, then I've sent 100 to qualified institutional investors. Then how many invitations I can send more? Yes, excellent, Priyanka, Shelja, 200 because they're not counted in the limit of 200. Very good. Now you have understood. Clear, sabko? A company makes allotment or invites the securities to more than 200, whether the payment has been received or not, the company intends to resist shall deem to be making the public offer. But other than qualified institutional buyers, if you are making the offer to more than 200 people, फिर उसको deemed public offer मान लिया जाएगा, and this document will be considered as a prospectus, and all the provisions of section 23 to 41 will now get applicable. Private placement will not carry any right of renunciation. Renunciation is your rights issue. When we do the next chapter, you'll understand it in a better clarity. So private placement is not including that. This is it trying to tell you. For non-convertible debentures, I told you if you're not exceeding the limit, then SR is not required to be passed. And filing has to be done with the resolution. You have to file the resolution with the registrar along with this form. And this last small point related to your FEMA, it tries to tell you whenever you are making the offer of securities to countries where you're sharing your land border with India, so like Nepal, Bhutan, any such people from these countries, they are investing money in our country, then FEMA rules have to be applied. Simple. Then government approval and FEMA rules have to be applied. Okay, this is PS4, which I've just shown you. Within 30 days, it has to be filed. It has to be sent to the name of person. So all these points that I'm showing you, these are same 11 points that I have briefly made up in my notes. You can refer to them. This is your homework, illustration, Ruhi and brother. Do read it out and ask me if you still have any doubts. Filing of return, I've told you within 15 days, same name of people, allotment, everything has to be mentioned. And if you do not comply with section 42, there is a major penalty, that is any amount which is raised from the private placement or 2 crore, whichever is less. So private placement में बहुत ज्यादा बड़ी amount उन्होंने दी है, 2 crore rupees तक आपकी penalty promoters की जा रही है, because you are trying to contravene, you're a private company, you are making the offer in contravention to section 42, your liability becomes very, very huge. And all the money along with the interest has to be returned within 30 days. The refund of the money will also have to be made. All right, after this, your summary starts. That means we have ended the chapter well in time. Clear? Yes, 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 Miss P. For one financial year, 200 people you have made. For next financial year, again, you can approach 200 people. Quickly read question number 1, MCQ, and give me the answers in the chat box. It has filed an application with 3 stock exchanges, receive a permission from couple of them, and proceed with the public issue. Received from couple of them means 3 of them has not given. Will there be any penalty? I told you section 40 is the only one in where 2 kind of penalties have been given. So 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs and 50,000 to 3 lakhs. C is the correct answer. Permission should have been received. So if application that has been made allotment is void. So 1C is the correct answer. No, Kiran, you don't have to apply the limit of 50 because it has been amended and changed to 200. Everybody has given the correct answer. Good. Mr. Anubhav Malik is asking QIB's exception to 200. So very carefully listen it now once for the last time. Offer is to be made to only 200 persons. In computing this limit of 200, QIBs are not included. Means I am sending application to 200 people. Suppose I have sent to 200 people. I still want to send to 50 more QIBs or 80 more QIBs or 1000 more QIBs. Can I send, Anubhav? Yes or no? Yes. Why? Because they are not counted in the limit of 200. 200 की लिमिट में काउंट नहीं हो रहे, उनके ऊपर कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. QIBs को आप लिमिट एप्लीकेशंस भेज सकते हो. Okay? This is what I was trying to tell you. As much money you want, you can raise by ESOPs from the shareholders. As much money you want, you can raise from the qualified institutional buyers. Other than the, only 200 people. Clear, sabko? Good. All right. Thank you, beta. Thank you. All those who have understood it with clarity, I'm glad. Which of the following statement is contrary to the provisions of Companies Act? Private company can make a private placement. Company has to pass an SR for private placement. Minimum offer per person should have a market value of 20,000. A public company can make a private placement. Which of the statement do you think is not something which you have not studied? C is absolutely correct क्योंकि हमने ऐसा कुछ नहीं पढ़ा मैम. So C is absolutely correct. No minimum limit has been given. Okay, Innovative Tech Solution Limited intends to invite subscriptions for 1.10 crores equity shares, each on private placement basis. Persons identified as potential subscribers are within the statutory limit and also include 2 other categories to which the statutory limit is not applicable. The category of employees who are offered the equity shares under ESOP, the other excluded categories. Oh my God, this was so simple. Something which I've been singing since last 1 hour. B is the correct answer, qualified institutional buyers. ठीक है ना, देखो याद हो गया ना अब आपको. All right, fourth one, quickly read it out. Yes, what is the correct answer for fourth one? D is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Please look carefully. Commission is to be paid to the underwriter only in respect of the securities, only in respect of the offer of securities, where the securities are on rights basis, the bonus, private placement, offer to public. So we have clearly done only when it is offered to the public. That is fourth is the correct point. 4D is the correct answer. And the last one, which of the statement is not true? In case of the shares, rate of underwriting commission to be paid shall not exceed 5% of the issue price. Underwriting commission should not be more than the rate specified by AOA. In case of debentures, rate of underwriting commission shall not exceed 5%. Commission shall be paid out of the profits, which is not true. The debentures, because rate of commission of debentures is 2.5%. Everybody is given the correct answers. Now, the other balance MCQs you can do from your question answer list that I will be sending and sharing with you. Another one important descriptive question I wanted to do with you. So are you enjoying the class, children? I hope you have understood the things very clearly. One more question answers I wanted to do with you. All right, I just wanted to discuss few cases with all of you children that when do you say that the okay, Miss P is asking in exam provisions should be written as it is from the Bear Act or key points. Definitely you can write the key points, but you have to explain the points as exclusively as we are trying to understand. If you're just writing the key points and you're not elaborating them, then it will not make sense. Okay, Shraddha ma'am is trying to speak, I think.
Hello.
Yes, hello, good evening, ma'am.
Very good evening, dear students. So, so the student, I think, has asked about that whether they need to write the exact provision or what. I couldn't get the question actually.
They're asking that do we need to write exactly from the Bear Act or key points are sufficient?
Okay, so no, they don't have to write. It's practically not possible for the students to write the exact language of law. However, it is very important to write the key points. But with when we are saying that you have to write the key points, we do not mean that you write just the key words. You have to write in a simple, legible English, full sentences. So, no short forms are to be used. Like you cannot, like this prospectus chapter that you are doing right now. If I take the example from this chapter only, like you were just discussing about section 42, private placement. So the limit for private placement is 200. That's what ma'am has told. You cannot just write limit 200. Okay. You have to write the full sentence in that the limit of persons is 200 in case of a private placement, which does not include, then you have to give the exclusions also. Okay, so you have to write the answer in full. They, if some students are getting confused with the concept of keywords, keywords are to be there in that sentence, and not only the keywords will suffice the purpose for getting the marks. I think that's clear.
Yes, ma'am. I think you have very nicely made the point more clear to them.
Thank you. Good evening, students. Thank you. Anything else that you would like to ask?
Students, ma'am is here. Would you like to ask anything else to ma'am? I think, ma'am, they have very nicely answered the MCQs also, and I'm also feeling really proud of the students because they are
Yes.
revising the task very well and reverting back. The only thing is that they really need to do certain writing practice, which I'm trying to make sure in the next lecture that they do certain descriptive questions also with me.
Sure, sure, sure. If there is any more query, then do let me know.
Definitely, ma'am.
Okay.
Definitely.
Please continue with the class.
Okay, ma'am. So one last question, students, which I wanted to do with you is that various instances where the securities allotment will be considered as the irregular allotment. So when I was telling you about this thing, irregular allotment, when can irregular allotment happen? So there's certain instances, say for example, where the company issues a prospectus, does a public issue without issuing a prospectus. So section 23 comes into picture. That means you have done an irregular allotment. If you have not complied with the contents or the matters of section 26, information becomes misleading, faulty, and incorrect. It is an irregular law. If you have not filed the prospectus with the registrar, it is an irregular law. Minimum subscription has not been met as per section 39, or less than 5% of the nominal amount, or approval of listing has not been made. Now, these 6 points I have been telling you at various instances when we were doing these sections. So this is the exclusive list which you can take as a picture and you can make your notes, so that if certain kind of question related to irregular allotment comes, you are clear in your mind that this kind of allotment, if contravention of section 23, 26, 39, 40 is particular point पे अगर contravention हुई है, then you will write that the allotment of the securities is void. Okay, because it is not a valid allotment if you have contravened any of these sections. Is that clear? I'll just try to do one more question with you, although we are almost done with the time. So along with the PPT, I will be uploading certain assignment questions also for all of you. So try writing them, try doing your practice also. All right. Thank you so much, Soumya, for writing. It's a wonderful and insightful session. Thank you so much. Definitely, Ms. Soumya. And thank you, Priyanka, Varsha Chaudhary, all those who have written. The conceptual clarity has been made possible. So your only homework for all of you is please well revise your task well in advance. Do your revision and do as much as writing practice possible. Now we have completed chapter of prospectus, so you can learn, revise, and to पीछे exercise दी हुई है. See, ICAI is making so much effort for you children. You simply have to pick up the questions, make your notes, do the writing practice, and then try to check your work whether your answers are tallying with it or not. Okay? Miss Naina, not to worry, you can refer to the recorded lectures if you have missed any of the previous class, okay? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajbir. Thank you, children. God bless you and do revise. And we are meeting on 7th, starting with a new chapter of share capital. And we'll also try to see if any other descriptive questions practice that we can do. All right. Thank you, all of you. Yes, sir, it's over.